name is Francis Lacis, one of the chiefs from the Tŝilhqot'in Nation. My community is Tšilhqot'in, Tusi Indian band. Tŝilhqot'in, that's in English, in our language, Tŝilhqot'in. Syilx means river. Ins means people, so we're referred to as the river people. Most of our communities live along the river, provides us food. It's our biggest salmon run that comes up. Salmon's our biggest food source, and it's all part of our title, our jurisdiction to the land. So that's our biggest effort, is to keep that river the way it is, keep it pristine and clean water, and so the salmon can keep coming back. And it's just a strength for our people. You know, it's been there for thousands of years, and that's where a lot of our people get the strength from the river, from the land. So that's very important. You know, our food source, our medicines, and that's who we are.
My name is Connie Jasper. I'm Director of Health and Emergency Services with the Tŝilhqot'in National Government. The Tŝilhqot'in language is really, really important to our people, and we have a large number of Tŝilhqot'in people, speaking people in our nation, and they hold really tight to that. They're very proud that they've been able to hold on to their language, as not many nations have been able to do that. And they're really adamant about it being taught in schools, as well as we've partnered with the Thompson Rivers University to offer it as credited courses at the university, and that's really important to carry on that language. The culture part, it's really important to our nation to have culture incorporated into all of events that we have, and not very many events you'll go to within our nation that you don't see drumming and singing, and also every event is started with a prayer. And we want to carry that on, and we want to be able to teach that importance of culture to other organizations. And so over the last couple of years, we've developed our own cultural safety education that we're rolling out. We've done some trial runs with it in person, and we've got some online registrations coming up, as well as some in-person training. And so we'll be reaching out to IH staff when we're ready to be offering those to IH staff in particular. And they will hopefully be in person, but if people really want, the online piece will allow that as well. We really do want people to understand who we are and why we are the way we are, and so teaching that culture is important. I think for a lot of it is because our communities are rural and remote. There hasn't been as much influence from the outside world as there has been in communities that are closer in urban areas as well. And a number of our people were able to also escape going to residential school as well. And so those elders that stayed behind kept that culture and language, that they were able to teach that language to their other generations. It's interesting though is that many of the elders that have it, that taught it to their children that are fluent speakers, that next generation hasn't learned it. And so that's where we're trying to start, is with the generation that was missed in learning it.
We remember the ways of our old people and the stories that they share when they see things like this. They share those thoughts and those good ideas with us about how we carry ourselves as a Tŝilhqot'in people.
Dorothy Meyers is at the Tŝilhqot'in Nations. My name is Dorothy Meyers, and I'm from Tŝilhqot'in. I'm Tŝilhqot'in. I'm an elder, and I support my community in their healing, or provide healing. How I started was I went on my own healing journey, like support groups and healing grief circles, or just one-on-one. You know, some people just come to me and talk to me. We talk in our language. It seems like it's more understandable when you speak it in your Tŝilhqot'in, in my Tŝilhqot'in language. Like we do a smutch, and we have prayers, like we do brush off with a juniper. The juniper, what we use in our culture with a smut and prayers. I use the language. The language is more, like I said, for me it's more understanding what you're going through and speaking your own language and sharing. And if the other person understands you, it's more healing.
Grant Alphonse, Hi, my name is Grant Alphonse. I am from the reserve called Tšilhqot'in. Language is important. It defines who you are. Without language, you're sort of lost, in my case. And Language defines where you come from, and everything is done in our language. Place names, all in Tŝilhqot'in, in our language. We're also connected through language, through the animals, through the environment, through Mother Earth. If you do not speak your language, you become assimilated a lot faster, a lot quicker than you would when you're intact with your language. So language is powerful. The colonizers, the Westerners, they all know that. And that was the reason why we were forced into schools to lose our language, our culture. Our elders, many of them are fluent. Many of them do not speak English, including my late father. Never went to Western education from the beginning. He was a sovereign Tŝilhqot'in speaker right to the end. Yeah, language is power, involved in a lot of things, life and death. Many of us elders that have been put into emergencies or hospitals have been brought forth where they ended up passing because of miscommunication. There's a case a few years back where an elder was shot from behind with a small caliber rifle, lodged into the internal area, stomach I guess. You have to remember that the elder is also in shock, and there's a language barrier. She could not speak English, and no one was there to translate, to be with her, to say that, hey, I've been shot, I'm hurt, I'm in shock, I can't talk. So if there was a Tŝilhqot'in interpreter, Tŝilhqot'in speaker with her at that time, I believe she could have been saved. She was like that for at least 3 days or 4 days or so, I can't recall. So she internally bled to death. That's the way it is today. So that's why you need to have somebody that's there speaking the language, that's there as an interpreter of some sort. And also, there's a lot of people that discriminate within the system. It's been like that for many generations. It still exists. It's just hidden a bit more now. We need to understand that. We need to educate these people. Let them be aware of certain protocols of the Tŝilhqot'in.
Sitsawozi Lisa Boyd, Dãkelh Dené, Se'aba Kenny Boyd, Se'enquel Marianne Boyd. My name is Lisa Boyd. I'm from Dãkelh First Nation. My dad is Kenny Boyd and my mom is Marianne Boyd. I am the education manager EC K-12 program. Prior to this position, I've been a teacher for 18 years. Teaching K-7. All my experience in education has been at First Nations Community School, so it's given me a lot of background, what other languages, nations have been doing with language as well. Both my parents are fluent speakers. My dad wanted us to continue a higher education after graduating from grade 12, so that's what he told us. But he also was a residential school survivor. My dad had heart surgery quite a few years now, but after his surgery, he was speaking Tŝilhqot'in, which is his, but he's a fluent speaker. So the doctors at the time had to get my mom to come in because they couldn't understand what my dad was saying. So it was just fortunate enough my mom was still at the hospital there after his surgery. So our elders now, like some of them are in homes in elder care, like in Williams Lake. So it's very important that they have Tŝilhqot'in speakers there, or someone who understands some of it as well, even if it is a silent speaker, because I think they would be a better support. And our Tŝilhqot'in words mean so much more than our English words too, have so much more meaning.
Sídago Randy Sitade. I go to Heidi Den Sitade. I go to Midot Lagos Nai. My name is Randy. I'm also called the Barefoot Guy. So I have been resident in this area at the hospitality of the Tŝilhqot'in since about 1984. And so we came at the invitation of the Tŝilhqot'in people and with the hospitality of the elders. We hung around a lot of time with the elders, and gradually our slow tongues picked up Tŝilhqot'in in moderate ways. I think it would say my own interest in the relationship between language and identity is beginning to get at that, because the language is not a mathematical, abstract object. It's a language is spoken by people. And people have an extraordinary ability to take things in their language, like the fact that they speak a particular language relates to who they are as people, their identity. So a person has an identity. I have an identity as a first language speaker of English. But I also have some awareness that my whole classical heritage, I have pieces of my ethnicity that are Welsh, let's say. So if I'm unaware that I'm missing that piece, I may be quite happily unaware that I'm just an English speaker like everybody else in the world that's English speakers, first language English speaker. But if I become aware, then I can be maybe in some senses a little discontent about that, but how frustrations and discontent are going to play out. They're going to play out in terms of health and well-being. They're quite likely going to be reflected in a person's immune system, perhaps. It might be. I don't know a lot about healthcare as such. I just know that we're interconnected individuals. We're not so neatly compartmentalized as to say I have this language deficiency and it's going to sit there inert. But it's like, no, that interacts with every other thing. And so the language affects the identity actually affects the wellness and the health in a fundamental level. And like psychosomatic illnesses might be related to these sorts of elements of discontent, where a person actually finds that they get sick more because of this supposedly unrelated thing. I think that a key area would be to say that with all of the work that's being in healthcare, and it's good work and it's right work to have, you cannot ignore the language piece. And the reason for that is because language relates to identity and identity relates to healthcare. So you simply can't have the luxury of saying all that we want to deal with, we want to take people's temperatures, we want to cut down on contagious illnesses or things like that. You have to have language as a piece within that. And so linguistic well-being is going to lead to well-being of any kind, of the totality of being.
Yeah, the language has always been powerful. All nations have their language, we have ours, and it's a deep connection to everything that pertains to us, everything on our lands, our waters, even in ceremony, like the river, I refer to it as a living entity. So we speak our language to it, either gather strength from it. I think in some ways we have to take over full jurisdiction over, let's say, education in order to really pursue our language and other areas of who we are as a people. We have to have full jurisdiction over everything as we once did. That's the only way we're going to survive as a people.